Okay, Salakia, right? Shalom, shalom, right? Salakia. Again, Yahweh Bashima Mashiach Malakia Bashai Barakatham to everybody tuning in live. Another cold cut. The Most High's warning how war in the Middle East will play out, right? And again, shalom to everybody tuning in live through the Spirit and Pop Yahweh Bashima Shai. ISY, Richard Perez, T. Sellers, Brother Azariah, Nigel Blends, HBK Ent, Salakia, Princess Nakaya or Nikki Salakia, Yvette McKellar, D. Rivers, Louis G.B., Divinely Fashioned, Yashab Rael, Yazian David, Yehuda Israel, Renea A., and everybody else tuning in, Shemai Tribe of Judah, and that will tune in, Lord willing, right? With so much turmoil going on the earth, and so many prophecies unfolding, the Most High is actually, he's warning the people of the earth, chiefly you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans of Negro and Indian descent. He's warning you how war in the Middle East will happen. It's not a matter of will it happen, or should it happen, or could it happen, or it might happen. It's inevitable, right? Without a shadow of a doubt, we are fully persuaded in our mind, according to what's written, that war in the Middle East will break out. And it's going to involve those nations that are commonly on the forefront of the media. Your Irans of the world, your Israels of the world, right? Your Syrias of the world, right? Your Saudi Arabia of the world, your United Arab Emirates of the world, right? All of these nations, Iraq, are going to play a major part in the end of the world. Yahweh Bashmir Shah set that land up for particular judgments and for particular prophecies that have to unfold. Let's go to the book of Second Ezra, right? The 15th chapter. And I want to go to I'm going to kick it off at verse 1, right? Let me make sure this is showing. Okay, this is Second Ezra, chapter 15 and 1. Everything you see going on around you is prophesied in the Bible. And really, right now, the world is on the brink of a total nuclear collapse, or a nuclear holocaust, or a nuclear war. You have foreign leaders, prime ministers, presidents, if you can understand, the kings of the earth, they're calling Iran and telling Iran, do not take us to World War III. Australia was on the phone with them. Germany was on the phone with them. America was on the phone with them. Everybody's on the phone with Iran telling them, do not press the button. Right? So really the world is on the edge of their seat. There haven't been too many times like this on the earth, where, you're 3 seconds away from an entire nuclear war on the earth. Right? This is Second Ezra, chapter 15 and 1. Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, said Yahweh, Vashmi Yahushua, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. So we have to speak into the people, my people. Who's the Most High's people? The Israelites. Who are the Israelites? The so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American man of Negro and Indian descent. Yahweh Bashir Shah has told us to speak into our people what's going to come to pass on the earth. Wars, famines, pestilence, destruction, judgments. That's our primary job, is to speak unto our people the words of prophecy. Yeah, we go into the law, we go into history, current events, and things of that nature, but the Lord said, covet to prophesy, and I will show you a more earnest way. Greatly paraphrasing 1 Corinthians, the 14th chapter, right? 1 on down to the end. So we have to go into these judgments that the Most High is going to do on the earth, because people, they don't understand that these things that are planned out on the earth can be directly tied into the Most High God. This is not a matter of Israel and Gaza and the Palestinians. It's deeper than vengeance that they want to get back on them for killing their generals and world leaders and politicians and top military men. It's deeper than that, man. And the Most High, he's running the show. He is the one that's orchestrating the kings of the earth and the militaries of the earth to fulfill his will and his judgment on the earth. Right? And that's why you have all hell getting ready to break loose. Now, they say it may die back down, but really, you have major events ready to transpire in the so-called Middle East. Now, if you've been watching it, then you know that you had military and political buildings and or a building that was destroyed and hit by the Israelis, by Israel. Now, Iran said that we want vengeance, right? They want to pay them back for killing their top men. And they vowed that they would do it. And they actually put out there, hey, look, we're going to do it at this time. So everybody started, to get nervous. And the world was on the brink of anxiety, right? And pressure was at an all-time high. And fears were even higher as they reached out to the world leaders and reached out to Iran to get this thing resolved, lest there should be a nuclear war and all countries will be pulled into it. So this is from timesofisrael.com. U.S. CENTCOM chief arrives in Israel amid fears of Iran strike because Iran said, hey, look, man, we're going to bomb Israel, but we're also going to bomb you Americans, man. You're not excused from this. So America, they sent one of their top guys down there, man, and say, look, here's what we're going to do in the event that things get out of hand. So this is this picture that you're looking at. This is their commander, General Michael Kurilla. He meets Defense Minister Yoav Gallant in Israel, and a photo that was released last month. Now, this says General Michael Kurilla, head of the U.S. Central Command, lands in Israel, right? Kurilla is expected to hold consultations with the Defense Minister Yoav Gallant and other officials to discuss the threat of an Iranian attack. And everything we're showing you, we're going to go through the scriptures and show you why it's happening and that this is a warning from the Most High God, Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushua. Right? The report added that the U.S. and Israeli, and where's Israeli in the Bible? Right? Where's that at in the scriptures? Where's the account of Judah being an Israeli? Peter, the Israeli. David, the Israeli. Right? Where is that at? Moses, the Israeli. Right? So these that's why there's judgments on the earth, man. Because you have a people pretending to be the Most High, or be the people of the Most High, rather, and pretending to be the Most High, which are the so-called Jew living in the land of Israel today, man. Nevertheless, it reads, the report added that the U.S. and Israeli officials across various agencies have been in contact over the last few days as the countries prepare for a possible response by Tehran, right? That's Iran, to the alleged, that's your chief city, to the alleged Israeli strike on April 1st that hit an Iranian consulate building in Damascus that killed 2 generals among several Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps officers. So they killed top men. Imagine, thinking of the house of David, imagine Benaniah, Joab, murdered. What did David do, or really Solomon? What did Solomon do to Joab after he killed 2 men that were better than he? He killed Abner. You understand? He slew Abner. He slew Absalom against his will, against the will of David. He killed Amasa. So the 2 top men, he killed Amasa and Abner. Those were top generals of the house of David. And what did David do? David got up with him, man. He eventually got up with Joab by the hand of his son Solomon. So you don't mess around with people generals, man. Iran is completely entitled and if not obligated to retaliate. And we want them to retaliate. We're not praying for peace. You got people saying hashtag pray for peace. I hope this thing dies down. We don't hope it dies down, right? Because the prophets that have been before us, let's get that in Jeremiah 17:8, right? It's like in Jeremiah 28. What did the Most High say about the men that were pushing this word before us, man? Jeremiah chapter 28:8. The prophets that have been before me and before thee of old, prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms of war and of evil and of pestilence. So you have men like who? Enoch, Noah, Elijah, right? Isaiah, men that actually came on the earth, it's like it before Jeremiah. And these men prophesied of destruction. They prophesied of doom. They didn't have to, Daniel didn't want the Babylonian Empire to continue. Where's the account of Elijah wanting the wicked Israelites to keep ruling? There's no account of that, man. These men prophesied against many countries and against great kingdoms of war and of evil and of pestilence. The prophet, now check this out, the prophet which prophesied for peace. When the word of that prophet shall come to pass, then shall the prophet be known that Yahweh hath truly sent him. So if there is a man out there telling you that everything's going to be okay, there will be peace in the Middle East. There will be no war between Iran and Israel and America and China and Russia and Syria, and everything's just going to be swept under the rug and a human race will get along. If there's a man out there pushing that, that man will be a false prophet, man. The Lord said, let that come to pass. And the Most High is being sarcastic when he's saying that. Then shall the prophet be known that Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, had truly sent him. Because the Most High is not sending prophets that prophesy peace, man. He's sending prophets to prophesy against Mount Seir and against these kingdoms, right? And you have tension in the so-called Middle East. Why? Because the Lord said that these things will happen, man. Right? This is Second Ezra, the 16th chapter, right? And I want to go to verse 1. Right? Let's go to Second Ezra, chapter 16 and verse 1. What did the Lord say? Right? By the mouth of Ezra the prophet, right? Slakia. Second Ezra, right? Chapter 16 and 1. Woe be unto thee, Babylon, and Asia. Woe be unto thee, Egypt. Slakia. See that? Go back to Second Ezra. Right. Bear with me. I want to go back to Second Ezra, the second chapter. All right. Because the Most High, he's prophesying against particular land masses where you're going to have major conflict at. And it's not a coincidence that you always have turmoil and war in that region of the Middle East, right? Second Ezra chapter 16 and 1. Woe be unto thee, Babylon and Asia. Woe be unto thee, Egypt and Syria. Gird up yourselves with cloths of sack and hair. Bewail your children. Be sorry. Why? For your destruction is at hand. Why? Because the Most High has angels stirring up the elements and stirring up the men in that region of Babylon. Babylon is America today, Babylon the Great, but ancient Babylon is Iraq, right? Ezra didn't know that Babylon was America. Ancient Babylon is Iraq. All of those countries and what the world calls the Middle East are in Asia. Iraq is in Asia. Iran is in Asia. Syria is in Asia, right? Turkey is even called Asia Minor, all right? So you have all of these countries that are in Asia. The Middle East is not a biblical term. It is a new term in the earth. You know, there was nobody, you'll meet people today and you'll ask them, well, what did the Lord look like? You may use the word, Jesus, or what it's, the Son of Man look like? Because they don't know who Yahweh is. So you'll ask them that and they'll say, well, he was Middle Eastern. Well, where is Middle Eastern at in the scriptures? Where is Abraham the Middle Eastern? Ishmael the Middle Eastern? Isaac and Jacob the Middle Easterners? He looked like a Middle Eastern man. That's not in the scriptures, man. See, the Most High made 18 nations of men. And what the so-called white man does, according to Psalms 49 and 11, is he calls lands after his own names. And he switches the nationalities of the people and their origins and removes the boundaries of the people. So now people actually think that Middle Eastern is a real thing, right? They actually think that these Arabs or Hamites or whoever's in that region that they're actually Middle Eastern. No, those are Elamites, Ishmaelites, and Hamites that dwell in that region. And you got Amalek out there too. You got a few Jakes scattered abroad, you know? So the Most High, he's really prophesying against particular peoples, you know? He's prophesying against peoples that dwell in modern day Asia, right? It says, woe be unto thee, Egypt and Syria. Why? Because you just had that bombing in Damascus where they killed 2 generals. So Syria, Babylon, Asia, Egypt, these are 4 major regions that are going to play a major role in World War III. Babylon prophetically being America, Asia being your entire so-called Middle East, where the Hamites and Elamites and Ishmaelites dwell, Egypt being the so-called Northern Africa and Syria. These regions are going to play a pivotal role when it comes to Armageddon and the Valley of Jehoshaphat, right? I'm going to read verse 3. A sword is sent upon you, and who may turn it back? So who's sending the sword? Yahweh. Bahashem Yahushai, he is the one sending the sword. And what does the sword mean? Judgments, violence, destruction. When you read Ezekiel 21, he said a sword is sharpened and given into the hand of the slayer, right? Let's get that in Ezekiel. So, I mean, this thing is really heating up, man. It's heating up out there in that so-called Middle East. And if you're not right with Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai, hey, you're going to be caught out there, right? You're going to be drafted somewhere in Yemen, hide behind a sand dune, man. You know, fighting in World War III. Ezekiel chapter 21 and 8. Again, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, prophesy, and say, Thus saith the Lord. Say, a sword is sharpened and also furbished. It is sharpened, that it's like it is sharpened to make a sore slaughter. It is furbished, that it may glitter. Should we then make mirth? It contemneth the rod of my son as every tree. And he hath given it to be furbished, that it may be handled. This sword is sharpened, Salakia, and it is furbished to give it into the hand of the slayer. So the Lord is ripening judgments on the earth, right? Missiles, you understand, nuclear missiles, hypersonic ballistic missiles, the mother of all bombs, the Satan 1, the Satan 2, all these weapons of mass destruction represents the sword that is being sharpened. They're doing nuclear missile tests, right? They're doing nuclear missile drills, fallout shelter drills. Where's your local fallout shelter? Where's your nuclear bunker? In the event that there's a nuclear holocaust on the earth, how do you protect yourself and your family? So the sword is being sharpened that it may make a sore slaughter on the earth, right? And the Lord has judgments prepared for Babylon, Asia, Egypt, and Syria. So again, that's Babylon the Great. Asia is your so-called Middle East. Let's pull this up. It's not talking about Cambodia and Thailand. Thailand and Cambodia, right? They don't play a major role in biblical prophecy. Yeah, they're in Asia, but the Most High is not dealing with that, right? He's dealing with the chief nations in modern day Asia. So here's your so-called Middle East, right? Which is really a social construct because the Most High never created a Middle East. Now, biblically, right, you have something that you read about in the scriptures called Mesopotamia, right? You read about the land of Canaan, right? A lot of these names that the Most High gave, they have been robbed and taken away by these nations. Now, really, this region, a lot of the people of the earth are wondering, well, why this region? Is there always the most conflict? Well, first of all, this land that they're fighting over, you people of Iraq, Iran, you so-called Jews, you Israelis, you Iranians, you Palestinians, you people of Jordan, Turkey, right? You're always fighting in that region because, first of all, the Most High is judging you. He's making you destroy one another because neither one of you have a right to claim to that region, right? That region, in its furthest context, was actually given to the sons of Shem, right? After the flood, the Most High divided the earth into three men, right? The three sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Now, all this region that you're looking at, Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Jordan, Yemen, Syria, all of that is actually given to the sons of Shem, right? Now, it's deeper than that, because not just the sons of Shem, it was given to a particular bloodline that came out of Shem, right? When you pull up Noah's sons, let's pull this up. Noah's sons. All right, pull this up real quick. You'll find out that Ham, he was given the land of Africa. Shem, he was given the Isles of the Gentiles and parts of, Japheth was given the islands, right, of the Gentiles and Europe. And Shem was given so-called Mesopotamia, Asia, the Near East, the Far East, and the Middle East. Let's pull up a map real quick to show you that. So this land, it goes beyond, and really the Palestinians go back to the Philistines. And the Philistines are Hamites. That's what the word Palestinia goes back to. It really goes back to the Philistines. Now, a lot of them are Ishmaelites now, but that land still doesn't belong to his land. And we're going to go through that history and that prophecy. So here, when you look on this map, right, this goes back to Genesis. I'm going to go to Genesis, the 9th chapter, shortly, and you'll see that you have, this is what you call the known world. At this time, this was called the world, right? What they call the old world today. And prior to coming to Aseroth, which is the biblical name of America, right, North or South America, it was called the New World, right? So when the people went to this side of the world, they called it the New World. Here was the old world, and this was the known world at the time. And it was divided to Ham, Shem, and Japheth. Ham was given Africa. That's the biblical name, Ham. So the people that dwell in that land are Hamites. So if you're a Hamite, you have no being anywhere but the land of Ham. See, and one thing that the so-called white man doesn't uphold is the law. And one of the laws he doesn't uphold is Deuteronomy. Let me get this law real quick, right? So he's the orchestrator of all this confusion, man. All these nations, they have no idea what's going on. That's why they have to be set back in order, right? We're going to go into why there's conflict and war and show you what's going to happen when it's all said and done, right? This is Deuteronomy chapter 24, Salakia, and verse 119, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, Salakia, I went Deuteronomy 24, and bear with me. Salakia is Deuteronomy 14, right? Deuteronomy 14, right? So we're going to go into the law and show you what these nations aren't upholding, right? What they're not going to keep, right? This is Deuteronomy chapter 14 and verse, let's see, get what I want real quick. I could go to Job. Salaki, bear with me. Right, thou shalt not remove the landmark. I'll go to Job, right, Job 24. I more than likely read over it. So this is Job chapter 24, and I'll read verse 1. It reads, why sing times are not hidden from the Almighty? Do they that know him not see his days? Some remove landmarks. They violently take away flocks and feed thereof. So a landmark is essentially something that's used to determine where one land begins and another land ends. That's what a landmark is for. That's why you have fences, you have gates, right? In the ancient world, you had walls. In agriculture, you had stones that were named, and you had stakes that were put in the ground that said, this is the landmark that divides my land from your land. This is where the boundaries of my land begins. This is where the boundary of your land ends. That's what a landmark is. When you remove the landmark, you remove the boundaries of the people. Now, in the ancient world, families were given lands, right? They were given lands and they were passed down by the fathers to the sons, and then when they became men, they passed down that land to their sons and to their sons and into their sons, right? So the lands that were originally given on the earth, they actually belong to particular families. They don't just belong to people, a nation of people. There are actual families that have a right to claim to particular portions of the earth, right? Let's go to the book of Leviticus, right? Chapter 25. That's why the land of Israel was divided into 12 tribes. It wasn't just a free-for-all. And even amongst the tribes, you had different families, like Caleb. He had Mount Hebron in Judah, right? Joshua, he had this land in Mount Ephraim. All of the families had certain portions. This is Leviticus chapter 25, and I'll start at verse, let's see. I mean, this whole chapter is good. I'll start at 23. It reads, "The land shall not be sold forever, for the land is mine, but ye are strangers and sojourners with me. And in all the land of your possession, ye shall grant a redemption for the land." Right? So let's say you had land, right? And then you were waxing poor and you couldn't afford to uphold your land. You could sell your land to a brother, but he can't hold that land forever. You might sell it to him for a year, 2 years. So you have to always grant a redemption, right? You know, like now they have a timeline. If you buy a TV, if you got your receipt, you can get it within 30 days, right? I can't think of the actual term, but you got 30 days, right? For clothes or something, you turn in your receipt and you'll get that redemption back. You'll get your money back. Certain places, they don't grant a redemption. Once you buy it, you can't return that. It's a no return policy, which is wicked. Well, according to the laws of Yahweh Bashmiel Shai, there's always a return policy on land that's sold due to particular circumstances. All right. So these lands that they're fighting over, there's actually a redemption on that land. And that's why Yahweh Shai is going to return ultimately on a deeper level to redeem that land and give it back to the rightful families. He's going to give it to the family of the house of Judah, to the family of the house of Benjamin, to the family of the house of Simeon, to the family of the house of Manasseh, to the family of the house of Asher, to the family of the house of Gad, to the family of the house of Reuben, to the family of the house of Issachar, right? To all of the families of Israel, he's going to redeem that land by force. He can't buy it, right? He's going to take it by force and distribute that land to the rightful heirs. So you have all these nations, they don't know the law. And they're just bombing each other, rape, robbing, murdering, plundering, and pillaging, and freaking off with the land that doesn't belong to them. Now, again, ultimately, that land belongs to the sons of Shem, first and foremost. So if you're a Hamite, you have no business being in that land. If you're a Japhite, you have no business being in that land. You belong in the isles of the Gentiles. And the only ones that can inherit that land is the family to whom that land was given. So what happens when you violate this law? You're in sin. What are the wages of sin? Death. That's why Yahweh Shai is the Redeemer. Not only is Yahweh Shai going to redeem us from Babylon the Great, not only has Yahweh Shai redeemed us from sin and from these corruptible bodies of bondage, Yahweh Shai is going to even grant a redemption on that land and give it back to the sons of the Most High God and rid it out of the hand of these Iranians, these Syrians, the so-called Judas in that land, and all you strange nations, man. Let's read this again. Leviticus 25 and 24. "And in all the land of your possession, ye shall grant a redemption for the land." And where's the account of us granting a redemption and giving it to the Romans in 70 AD? They stole the land, man. Verse 25, "If thy brother be waxen poor, and hath sold away some of his possession, and if any of his kin come to redeem it, then shall he redeem that which his brother sold." Right, so a brother might not have enough to buy his land back. His nearest of kin, the Redeemer, can bring that land back and give it back to his brother. That's law. You can't have a stranger just hold on to your land. That's the Most High's land. The Middle East, that region, it belongs to Yahweh. Ba'Shem Yahushua. And as we go into it, that a particular portion of that land was given to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and to the 12 tribes. From the river Egypt and to the great river Euphrates. It's the boundaries of the sons of God. So if you're in that land and it doesn't belong to you, the Most High, he's going to destroy you out that land, man, and rid you out of that land. That's why he has all these nations fighting one against another, man. This is not just because the Israelis bombed and killed 2 generals. It's not because of the Palestinians. That's on a surface low level. That's your foot in the water level, man. And this thing is deep on why there's turmoil and war in the Middle East. Because ultimately, it goes back to violation of the law. All right, Leviticus 25 and 26. It reads, and if the man have none to redeem it, and he himself be able to redeem it, then let him count the years of the sale thereof, and restore the overplus unto the man to whom he sold it, that he may return into his possession. Right, so if there's an X amount of years coming to the years of Jubilee, or if there's an X amount of years that he still has to pay off, he pays that off and he gets the land, right? The point is, the land cannot be sold forever. The land cannot belong to any other people but the people of the Most High. Let's go to Genesis chapter 9, right? This is Genesis chapter 9 and 26. Right, actually, I'm gonna jump up. Genesis 9 and 1. Then I'll jump down. And the Most High blessed Noah and his sons, and said unto them, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth. So they were actually given certain lands. When Noah landed the ark, or when the Most High landed the ark, it actually landed on Mount Ararat, which is modern day Turkey. And they got out the ark and they migrated into particular portions that the Most High gave them. So Shem was given his land. He went south of Mount Ararat, which is, pull up Mount Ararat, which is your so-called modern day, where is this at? Your modern day Turkey. Right? This is where he landed, the ark landed in Turkey. Okay? And then the sons of Shem, certain families, they traveled down into this region right here. The Hamites, they went into this region of the land of Ham. All right. And the Japhites, they went up north and they went up in this region. Right. So everybody was given a land after the flood. Moses told them to replenish the earth. Now I want to jump down to Genesis 9. Right. This is Genesis chapter 9 and 26. It reads, and he said, blessed be the Lord God of Shem, and Canaan shall be his servant. Now, who is Shem? Shem is the chosen son of Noah. So the inheritance went from Adam to Seth to Canaan to Mahalalel to Jared to Enoch to Methuselah to Lamech to Noah to Shem. All right. Now, Noah could have took the birthright and gave it to Japheth. He could have took it and gave it to Ham, but it wasn't up to him. The Most High chose Shem. When you read in the Apocrypha, it says in Sirach 49, Shem and Seth were in great honor among men, and so was Adam above every living thing in the creation. Paraphrasing. So the Lord chose Shem. So the Lord already chose that landmass that was given to Shem. Right? And where's that landmass at? The Lord, who's this devil? The Lord is already dealing with the land of Shem. Okay? He's already dealing with the Shemites. If you can understand. You got the Hamites, the Japhites, and the Shemites. And then Shem branched off to his 5 sons. All right, and you see them in the purple. Arphaxad, Elam, Ashur, Aram, and Lud. Right? So I don't know where they got Mosh from. But Lud is one of their sons. And Arphaxad, out of him came Salah and Eber, and these different men. All right. So these men, they ended up dwelling in Mesopotamia, and they migrated to Ur the Chaldees. right? And that's where Abraham comes into the scene, right? They came into Ur the Chaldees. But the point is, this entire land of Shem, or this entire region of the so-called Middle East, was given to the sons of Shem. And ultimately, it said Canaan shall be his servant. Why? Because the Hamites, they were ultimately fulfilled, chiefly the Canaanites, to be slaves to the sons of Shem. All right? Meaning the Israelites who came out of Shem will own all of the Canaanites. And that's why the Most High sent us into that land, the promised land, because it was promised to Shem from the beginning that he would enslave Canaan. Canaan is an actual man. But if you understand regeneration, he came back on the earth through his descendants. Shem is a man. Shem came back on the earth through that lineage. So ultimately, Shem enslaved Canaan when they inherited the promised land. Right? And Shem is going to inherit Canaan again. And the kingdom Shem is going to be back on the earth. Canaan is going to be back on the earth. And Shem ultimately is going to own Canaan. And that's one slave you won't be able to take away, man, from anybody. Because by right, he belongs to Shem by promise. All right, verse 27. The Most High shall enlarge Japheth, and he shall dwell in the tents of Shem, and Canaan shall be his servant. Right? So the Most High said everybody's going to be under Shem. When you dwell in somebody's tent, they call the shots. They tell you what to do, what not to do. Sleep here, eat there, leave, come in. So Japheth, he's also going to be underneath Shem. Everybody's going to be under Shem when it's all said and done. Now, ultimately, who came out of Shem? We went into it, man. Right? We're going back to the very beginning. Because the world, the Fox News, MSNBC, CBS, they're not going to tell you why there's war in the Middle East and how did it all begin. Right? It really goes back to the creation, to Genesis. Now, it really goes beyond that because that's the land that Adam was in. Right? But that's a breakdown for another day. Right? So here's Shem. Let's pull this up. And you'll see the lineage and genealogy that was given to our forefather. So when you hear that word anti-Semitic or a Semitic people, the only people, and we've covered this plenty of times, the only people that are Semitic are the people that come out of Shem. So if you're a so-called African, a Hamite, you're not Semitic. They can be Shemitic. A Hamite can be anti-Shemitic. And a Japhite, they can be anti-Shemitic. And a Shemite who hates himself and his own people, he can be anti-Shemitic. But in its purest sense, a Shemite can't be anti-Shemitic unless he hates his own people and his God. Right? So that's the word they like to use and appropriate only for the so-called Jew, Amalek. For sympathy and, so you can feel so bad about these damn devils and all types of madness, man. Hey, but you had all these people cheering that O.J. Simpson died. That's anti-Shemitic, man. Talking about it was hashtag rest in hell for O.J. Simpson. He shouldn't have killed that so-called white woman. Well, that's anti-Shemitic right there. You had the brother that just got shot, I think, in Chicago. And you had people cheering that, praising that. That's anti-Shemitic, man. And really, it really dives deep into the Israelites, man. So here's the genealogy of Shem. Shem and his 5 sons. Elam, Ashur, Arphaxad, Lud, and Aram. Aram, right, is where you get that, Aramaic from. A dialect spoken by the people of Padan Aram, and a language also shared with Ashur, because Ashur is where you get your Syrians from. Elam are where you get your East Indians from. People of Indonesia, India, Sri Lanka, even a lot of your ancient Iranians. Believe it or not, a lot of your ancient Iranians aren't even Ishmaelites. They go back to Elam. Now, a lot of them are Ishmaelites now, but a lot of them are still Elam. Nevertheless, Arphaxad, Shelah, Eber, Peleg, Reu, Serug, Nahor, Terah, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and the Israelites. That's the chosen bloodline of the Most High God, right? Let's go to the book of Genesis chapter 15, right? Genesis chapter 15. So we're covering that history of the so-called Middle East, why there's turmoil there, right? And ultimately, we're going to show you what it's going to turn out to, man. Right? We're going to go through these current events and actually show you what's happening on the earth, right? But it's very important that we understand that history and the true reason on why there's so much hell going on in the Middle East, right? Genesis chapter 15 and verse 18. And the same day, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, made a covenant with Abram, saying, unto thy seed have I given this land, from the river of Egypt unto the great river, the river Euphrates. Now check this out. Who else did he give them? The Kenites and the Kenizzites and the Cadmonites and the Hittites and the Perizzites and the Rephaims and the Amorites and the Canaanites and the Girgashites and the Jebusites. So all these people were given unto Abraham, because Abraham is fulfilling ultimately that prophecy of Shem as well. You know, where it said Canaan shall be thy servant. So all these nations will be enslaved by the seed of Abraham. That's why Joshua and Caleb did so and subdued them. The point of the matter is, check this out. Unto thy seed have I given this land. What land? From the river of Egypt unto the great river, the river Euphrates. So let's pull that up. The river of Egypt, which is the Nile River, unto that great river, the river Euphrates. All right, we put this map up before, what scholars call Greater Israel, because the boundaries that you see that King Saul had, or David or Solomon had, they don't compare by any means to the boundaries that the Most High actually has in store for the sons of God. So here's what the boundaries truly should be: from the Nile River to the river Euphrates. This is where you have all your conflict going on, right? This is where you have massive confusion and wars going on, man. You just had the two generals, they died in the land that was given to Abraham. You have Iran ready to bomb Israel in the land that was given to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. This is the primary reason why you have global conflict going on in that region, because that is a region that is given to the sons of God. And when you have people in that land, heathen, that don't belong in that land, the Most High judges them accordingly and turns them one against another. Now, what did the Most High do to the heathen that they put the king of Assyria put, Salakia, the king of Assyria, Sennacherib and Salmanassar the fifth, and all these heathen? Didn't the Most High take wild lions and kill them because they didn't belong in that land, right? They knew not the manner of the God of the land. Let's go to 2 Kings chapter 17, right? Which proves that there's an actual spirit in that land, man. Right? That listen, Jacob said, this is the gate of heaven. I'm gonna get that too, Lord willing. So this is Jeremiah 17, and I'm gonna read verse 24. And the king of Assyria brought men from Babylon and from Kutha and Ava and Hamath and from Sepharvaim, and placed them in the cities of Samaria instead of the children of Israel. Why? Because, northern kingdom was taken captive at this time, and they possessed Samaria and dwelt in the cities thereof. So you had heathen that were put into that land, okay? And the true people of the Most High, they were sent into the lands of the Medes and Nineveh and different parts of the heathen. And so it was at the beginning of their dwelling there that they feared not the Lord. Therefore, the Lord sent lions among them, which slew some of them. Do you think these heathen there fear the Lord, man? As they worship that rock made with man's hands, that has eyes or damn it don't have eyes, man. It can't see, it can't walk. And what the hell is that rock doing for you Palestinians, man? How come Allah is not stopping your generals for being slain by your enemies, man? Where's Allah at, man? Where is he supposed? Where is he at? This is supposed to be the world's fastest growing religion, and many people are converting to Islam. I got one question for Allah: where the hell are you at, man? Because you ain't doing a damn thing. Where's that rock doing, man? How much profit did you get going to that rock every year? So you Ishmaelites, you don't know the manner of God in that land, man. You Amalekites, you don't know the manner of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. You don't belong in that land. You Ethiopians, you Cushites, you don't belong in that land. See, and what the Most High is doing, he's not sending wild lions against you because this is not enough. There's too many. These heathen have weapons and things of that nature. Not as if the Most High is concerned of that, but instead of the Most High sending lions against them, he's sending them one against another. He's making them amass these nuclear weapons. He's making them bomb each other, kill each other, have them just destroy one another, man. As we watch, we're going to watch them destroy one another, man. We're going to be on this side of the world. We're not going to be involved. This isn't the days of Hezekiah and Josiah. We have to go to war and defend the boundaries of Israel, man. These aren't the days of David, where David had to slay all these heathen to bring peace in the land. We're waiting on Yahweh Shem Yahushua. And until Yahushua returns, he's using them to kill one another. Right? Let's read on. 2 Kings 17:26. Wherefore they spake to the king of Assyria, saying, the nations which thou hast removed and placed in the cities of Samaria know not the manner of the God of the land. Yeah, like Esau. You took the so-called Jew from Romania, Ukraine, Georgia, Poland, Russia, Germany. You removed them and placed them in the cities of Samaria, and placed them in Tel Aviv, and placed them in Jerusalem, and placed them in all these places, man. So what they did with the United Nations is nothing new. They've been doing that. They've been taking other nations, making decrees, and putting them in that land. This is around 721 BC. You know? So it says, they know not the manner of the God of the land. Therefore, he hath sent lions among them. And behold, they slay them, because they know not the manner of the God of the land. And this is another reason why there are judgments going on in that land, because they know not the manner of the God of the land. They're not going to keep the law of thou shalt have no other gods before me. They're worshiping rocks, stones. The so-called Amalekites, he's a natural born unregistered sex offender, child molester, a pedophile. They're into pedestry, blood sacrifice, wickedness, witchcraft, sorcery. They're eating pork in the land of Israel. They got Pink City. They got kosher cigarettes. They freaking off. So they don't know the manner of the Most High of the land. These Palestinians, they worship rocks and stocks and stones. They don't know the manner of the God of the land. That is another reason why there's so much hell going on in the so-called Middle East, right? That's why you have this turmoil, man. First of all, the nation don't belong there because you remove the boundaries of the people. Let me get that in Isaiah. And you start putting other nations in that land that rightfully belong to certain families of the sons of God. Everybody on this live, your family has a right to that land. A particular portion of that land was given to your forefathers. Rather from the tribe of Reuben or Benjamin, Judah, Naphtali, you was given. And if you was a Levite, the Most High is your inheritance. So you should be really mad. You Levites should be hot, man. Because you weren't even given a physical land. Yahweh Shem Yahushua was your inheritance, man. Now, let's go to Isaiah chapter 10. Let's get another quick precept on this. Isaiah chapter 10. Like I said, we're going to get into these current events, man. We're going to dive into what's going on, and that I believe we labeled this, or I labeled this, God is warning you. What did I call this through the Spirit? God is warning how war in the Middle East will happen, right? So we're painting the picture on how it started through the Spirit. I'm going to show you how this thing is going to end. We're starting with Genesis, and we very well may end in Revelation. We went all the way back to Shem and Noah, all right, to the time of the 8th century, right? This is Isaiah chapter 10 and 13. It reads, "For he said, by the strength of my hand I have done it, and by my wisdom, for I am prudent." Now this is speaking about the so-called white man. "And I have removed the bounds of the people, and have robbed their treasures, and I have put down the inhabitants like a valiant man." So Esau removed the bounds of the people. He knows very well that the sons of Caleb get Mount Hebron, that Joshua, he gets Mount Ephraim, that certain tribes, they get the land of Galilee, Mount Carmel. He removed the so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American man from that land in 70 AD and forced us into strange lands. And he replaced us with other nations, right? Now you got Arabs thinking that land belongs to them. You got the so-called Jew who thinks that land belongs to them based off of that decree that was made by the United Nations. I can't think of it off the top of the head, right? But we went into it in time past, man. That mandate, all right, by the United Nations. The point is, Esau, he removes the bounds of the people and robs their treasures. And he's boasting about it in this verse. "And I have put down the inhabitants like a valiant man, and my hand hath found as a nest, the riches of the people. And as one gathereth eggs that are left, have I done" what? "Have I gathered all the earth." See that? Have I gathered all the earth. So who runs the earth? Esau. You got people, I don't know who runs the earth. And the Most High is telling you who gathered all the earth. That links up with Job 9 and 24. "And there was none that moved the wing, or opened the mouth, or peeped." See that? Because all of the nations are birds and fowls. And Esau is the fowler, right? That's what the Lord said in Psalms 91. "And he will deliver you from the fowler." A fowler hunts birds. The nations are ours. When you read Job 30 and 29, Job said, "I am a brother to dragons and a companion to owls." So all these other nations are nighttime birds and creatures. Esau is the fowler, and he hunts the birds. So nobody can move the wing, open their mouth, or peep, because all birds are caught by his jinn, his traps, and his snares, which are his democracy, his religions, his philosophies, his politics, his monetary system, his Federal Reserve, International Monetary Fund, right? Sorcery and witchcraft. That's nobody can open their damn mouth or peep, because they're all under a spell, or they're killed by the edge of the sword, right? So nevertheless, the so-called white man, he is the one, Esau, wreaking havoc on the earth. And that's why you have these wars going on in the so-called Middle East. And again, the Middle East is a new thing on earth, right? And let me actually read about this. Now I'm going to read this whole thing, but you have something called the Near East. You have your Middle East, just like race. Race is a man-made thing. Black man, white man, right? Mongolian man. What else? Australian man, Negro man, right? Caucasian man. These are all social constructs invented from the time that the British, the Germans, and the French ruled the earth, and you so-called Americans, man, right? So this is Middle East, right? I'm not going to read this whole thing. Now this is from the Britannica. All right, let's see. See that? Look at this. They got this right here. Israel vows to defend itself if Iran responds to attack on its consulate, right? Now, if they even got this on the Britannica, everybody's talking about this. This is a big deal, right? So if Iran does bomb them, Israel, they're going to bomb them back. Then Iran's going to bomb them back, and we know what's going to happen from there. All right. So I mean, these are exciting times, man. Right. So let me go down a little bit and read this. Right. Like I said, I'm not going to read this whole thing, but it reads: Middle East, the lands around the southern and eastern shores of the Mediterranean Sea, encompassing at least the Arabian Peninsula, and by some definitions, Iran, Northern Africa, and sometimes beyond. Now, you have a lot of Ishmaelites that dwell in the so-called Middle East. Because remember, that was the land, portions of that region were given to Ishmael. All right. Actually, the land of Havilah was given to him. Now, let's go to Genesis chapter 25. Because Canaan was ultimately given to Israel, but Esau was given a landmass too. He was given Mount Seir and the land of Shem, because really Esau is a Shemite too. All of the sons of Shem were given lands in Shem's region. Ishmael, he came out of Shem. Midian, he came out of Shem. Israel, he came out of Shem. Esau, he came out of Shem. Moab and Ammon, they all came out of Shem. That's when you look up their regions that they were all given land masses in the boundaries of Shem's land. Okay? And we'll put that up on the map too. Now, I want to get Genesis chapter 25 and verse 12. Right? Genesis chapter 25 and 12. Now, these are the generations of Ishmael, Abraham's son, whom Hagar the Egyptian, Sarah's handmaid, bare unto Abraham. Because remember, Ishmael was the oldest boy, the oldest son, right? But the Most High told him, kick rocks, man. He said, cast out the bondwoman and her son, for they shall not be heirs with the sons of promise, paraphrasing. So Ishmael was cast out, Isaac was the chosen. Verse 13. And these are the names of the sons of Ishmael, by their names, according to their generations. The firstborn of Ishmael, Nebajoth, and Kedar, and Adbael, and Mipsam, and Mishma, and Duma, and Massa, Hadar, and Tamar, Jeter, Napish, Kedama. These are the sons of Ishmael, and these are their names by their towns. So they were given actual towns, right? Cities. And by their castles, 12 princes according to their nations. So any so-called Arab on the earth, he comes from these 12 princes, right? And them Arabs still carry that title of a prince. A lot of them Arabs, they still have kings, they have princes, the king of Jordan or the king of Saudi Arabia, and their sons are actual princes. So they still have that same, Ishmaelite spirit. It reads, Esau, they let that go. Now they're presidents. Now Esau is a prime minister or a congressman or a senator. But Ishmael still kind of held fast to what they always were. All right, reading on to verse 17. And these are the years of the life of Ishmael, 137 years. And he gave up the ghost and died and was gathered unto his people. And they dwelt, so here's where the Ishmaelites dwell. And they dwelt from Havilah unto Shur, that is before Egypt, as thou goest toward Assyria. And he died in the presence of all his brethren. So Havilah, we're going to put up Havilah on the map, and Shur is Syria. So that's where the Ishmaelites dwell, right? They dwell from that Arabian Peninsula all the way to Syria. Now, we read ultimately that land was promised to who? Abraham, right? But this was given to them for that portion, while Israel inherited the land of Canaan. Now, let's put this up on the map. So here's Havilah, right, which is right here, your Saudi Arabia. That's why it's one of your largest. Really, Saudi Arabia is the strongest nation outside of Turkey in the Middle East. And Saudi Arabia is actually surpassing Turkey. All right. And there's a reason why Saudi Arabia is surpassing Turkey, because that's originally the headquarters of the sons of Ishmael as they dwelt in where? The land of Havilah. So this is the land of Havilah right here that they dwelt in. Now let's pull up Havilah in the blue letter. Let's see what if they go into it. Right? Let's see if they actually dive into Havilah. Now you're not going to meet any Ishmaelite that say I'm from the land of Havilah, because they don't know what's going on. Nobody really knows who they are and where they're from except the Israelites, man. Right? Because we work directly for Yahweh Bashmi Awashad. These nations, they don't know who they are, man. Right? Let me pull this up real quick. So this is Havilah on the map, or in the blue letter, right? Now it reads here's the definition of the Ishmaelites. The district of Kualan and the northwestern part of Yemen. So this is where they dwelt at, man. Right? Now, ultimately, they got that land. The Most High gave them that land. He gave them that land that was originally not theirs, but the Most High gave it to them through the Spirit. Just like he gave Esau a land. And he gave their sons a land. But it's a district of Arabia. And they actually got that right. So let's pull this back up. Here's Havilah, where the Arabs dwell, your Ishmaelites, all the way onto where? A lot of Ishmaelites that dwell in this region: Jordan, Syria, Saudi Arabia, they even said Yemen. A lot of Ishmaelites dwell there, right? And really their blessing is that they would dwell in the presence of all their brethren. So if anybody knows who should be in that land, it's really two people: the Israelites and the Ishmaelites, man. They're the only ones who truly, really know, right? Because we were given those lands. Really, we were given, as the sons of God, the whole earth, but they were there from the very beginning, the Ishmaelites. See, Esau left Mount Seir. Moab left the land of Moab. Ammon left the land of the Ammonites, and they went east, and they dwelt in China. Comes from the Qin dynasty in Japan. They went east. Esau, you went into Greece and Rome from the Argead dynasty, right? The Israelites were scattered abroad. So the only nation that truly remained in that land and never left were the Ishmaelites. That's why you had that president of Egypt. What did he say about war in the Middle East? Right? Let me see if I can pull that up. And he was the president of Egypt. Gamal, I believe his name was Gamal. Yep, Abdel. No, sir. Right? He has the famous quote about the Jews. Right? Let's pull up his famous quote. Right? That he put out there. Right? Let's see if we can get this. We used to have this on one of the cap signs. All right, check this out. So here's this famous quote, right? It says, when he was asked, this is from Time, right? He was on the cover of Time magazine. When he was asked about peace in the Middle East, the late president of Egypt, Gamal Abdel Nasser, stated, the Jews will never be able to live here in peace because they left here black but came back white. And he's an Ishmaelite, huh? He's not really a son of Mizraim, a Martizayim. He's not a Hamite. He's an Ishmaelite. You know, the Ottoman Turks, the Caliphate, right? A lot of these Ishmaelites came and they started mixing in amongst these other lands. That's why we have a lot of Ishmaelites that dwell in northern Africa, Berbers and in Algeria and Morocco and Egypt. That goes ultimately back to the Middle Ages of the Muslim expansion or the Islamic expansion. Nevertheless, you have this man who knows. in case they think we're making it up. Putin, he already opened up the vault. Putin opened up the vault and showed you all of the Russian icons and artifacts that the real people of the Bible, the Jews, are the so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American men. You have people mad about that, man. Why did he do that? He shouldn't have brought that out. And then you have this guy who been said it, man. Everybody knows that the real Jews are the so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American men. You know? So that's why you have wars going on. You'll never have peace because he knows who has right of inheritance to that land. And he knows very well it's not the so-called white man, right? Who's in that land to this day, right? So let's go back to this so-called Middle East map or Middle East article real quick, right? So the Middle East is your Arabian Peninsula, Iran, and sometimes Northern Africa. The central part, now here they're going to tell you where that term Middle East came from. The central part of this general area was formerly called the Near East, a name given to it by some of the first modern Western geographers and historians. Who's that? The so-called white man. They're the ones that went up into that region and said, well, who are Western geographers? The people from Britain, France, America, these archaeologists, scientists, historians who have been paid to travel around the world to cover up the truth and to switch up the boundaries of the people and spread massive confusion and disinformation on the earth. This is true misinformation. So they want to get on us as we do these teachings and go out on the highways and byways and prophesy. And as we speak truth, they call it misinformation. No, make people a Middle Eastern is misinformation. That's truth disinformation. Coming up and traveling around the world and doing what you did when you were the Greeks, that's truth disinformation, man. Now it says, read this again. Right, Salakia. It reads, the central part of this general area was formerly called the Near East, a name given to it by some of the first modern Western geographers and historians who tended to divide, here they go again, what they called the Orient into three regions, meaning in the East, from the Mediterranean Sea to the Persian Gulf. Middle East, from the Persian Gulf to Southeast Asia, and Far East, those regions facing the Pacific Jordan. So that's a new term to earth. Just like African American, Negro, Hispanic. So now you got people saying, well, the Lord might have been a Middle Eastern, right? That's not according to the Most High. That is not according to the scriptures, right? Now they say they did this around the time of World War II. So let's see if we can get that real quick. And used to World War, so it happened a little bit before 19. It reads, the change in usage prior to World War II intended to be confirmed during that war, when the term Middle East was given to the British military. A common definition of the Middle East encompassed the states or territories of Turkey, Cyprus, Syria, Lebanon, Iraq, Iran, Egypt, Sudan, Libya, and Yemen, Oman, right? So it's telling you who came up with that term Middle East, the so-called white man prior to World War II, Salakia. Right? Then it became more commonly known and spread abroad. Now it's in everybody's textbooks, universities, etc. Now, let's pull this up real quick. So we know why there's war and turmoil on the earth. I was going to go into the Fertile Crescent, right? Which actually is that region as well. The Fertile Crescent is the what they call the origins of civilization, right? This is where Adam dwelt in Jerusalem or Israel, right? Our forefathers, Abraham, he lived in Mesopotamia. So that region is the beginning of civilization, what scholars call the Fertile Crescent. So it's the beginning of civilization, and it will be the end of civilization, because the same way it began with life and cities, right? And the population increase, the Most High is going to end there, man. It's going to end it. There's no new thing under the sun, and that's a just balance from Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. It's going to go from a Fertile Crescent to a damn Hamon and a place of dead bodies, man. That's what Yahweh Yahushua is going to do on the earth. Now, really, let me pull this up real quick. You have, now this is from the Jerusalem Press or Jerusalem Post, right? Let me pull this up real quick. Now it reads, this says March 12th. So we getting this in advance. You know the time difference. We're getting this in advance. The power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. The most dangerous moment since the Yom Kippur War, right? The United States is preparing for an Iranian response. So everybody's waiting for war in that region to kick off. And we already covered why it's happening. But here's the straight, raw, unadulterated truth, man. So you have nations now, they're trying to diffuse the situation or de-escalate it. They're trying to tell Iran, calm down. You don't want to do this, right? You're going to make a decision that you regret. They're telling Israel, don't provoke them. Iran, guess what, man? They don't give a damn about what you Edomites have to say. For the last week, one of the number one trending topics on social media has been death to America. The world is taken aback, chiefly you Americans, that, and it was actually in America, I believe in Dearborn, and they got the largest Muslim pop or Arab population in the country out there. They was chanting death to America. So these Ishmaelites, now they say as tensions mount between Israel and Iran, U.S. Senator Marco Rubio made a statement on X, right, which is formerly known as Twitter, noting that the current moment is the most dangerous since the 1973 Yom Kippur War. And you can look that up on your own. And this is dangerous, man. This is dangerous. Now, Iran said, we're not going to do something that's going to require a retaliatory response, but we're still going to bomb some buildings. So that they're saying that they don't care about none of that, man. They don't care about all this peace talk. See, one thing about Ishmael, he's a wild man. Right? Let me get that. He is a wild man. So once he's going to do what he wants to do. And you could call him all day and try to give him a peace treaty and make him calm down. Hey, he's not going to calm down, man. It's not in his spirit to calm down. Right? Chapter 16. Right? Here's one of the blessings of the Ishmaelites, man. Now, really, Iranians, a lot of them are Elamites, but a lot of them are also Ishmaelites too. All right, so let's get this real quick. See, Satan has this thing lagging. Right, bear with me. I'm going to get Genesis chapter 16. And I want to get from 12 on down. Right, straight to the point. Genesis chapter 16 and verse 12. And he will be a wild man. His hand will be against every man, and every man's hand against him. And he shall dwell in the presence of all his brethren. So Ishmael, by default, he can't be reasoned with, right? He's unreasonable. You can't counsel him. He'll throw acid on you, right? And they'll blow themselves up, man. Right? They'll do things that they'll jump out of a plane and crash a plane into a building in the name of their false god. And it's not a coincidence why he's always at odds with the so-called white man, with the so-called African man, with the so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American man. He's at odds with every damn body, man. That's why it says his hand will be against every man and every man's hand against him. The Israelites were against him. Esau is against him. The Hamites are against him. The Moabites don't really deal with him. The Ammonites don't deal with him like that. And he shall dwell in the presence of all his brethren. That's where they all dwell amongst each other, right? So you're going to have these Ishmaelites that don't want to be reasoned with. They're not going to back down. And that's why America, they sent their top guy over there and said it's about to go down. It's about to go down. World War III is about to happen. That's what they're saying. Now, I'm not going to read this whole thing, but it reads, United States Senator Marco Rubio of Florida wrote on Thursday that Iran wants to launch a large-scale attack from its territory in retaliation for the Damascus airstrike widely attributed to Israel and kill one of their senior generals. He claimed that Israel will immediately respond with an even more severe counterattack inside Iran. And they said they're not going to do it. But we hope that they press that big red button, man. Just drop the nuke. Drop the nuke, man. Drop those hypersonic missiles that you have. Doesn't Iran have Missile City? We covered that a while ago. They have an entire underground a facility of missiles, man. So much missiles, they call it Missile City. Drop the missile. Now, we know all things are according to the Most High's time, but hey, look, man. Looking for and hasting to the coming of the day of God. So they said that Israel is going to respond. So Israel is not saying, okay, if you got us, you got your lick back. All right, go ahead and bomb us. Okay, get one. You know, Jay, get your one punch in. Right? Israel's not doing that, man. They said, if you get your punch in, we getting our punch in. So if Iran retaliates, this very well may lead and trigger off undoubtedly World War III. Right? If Iran retaliates, this is a big deal. Because then it's going to go tit for tat. And then Israel and Iran are going to be at war. And guess who's at war if Israel is at war? America's at war. And guess who's at war if America is at war? NATO is at war. Unless that's NATO, they're going to start breaking off from America. But as of now, NATO, they're going to be at war. China's going to be at war. Russia's going to be at war. This is going to be a major catalyst for World War III. Right? So we're hoping, we're on the edge of our seat, man. Hoping that this thing actually goes down. Let's go to the book of Revelation, the 9th chapter, right? The Most High has spirits out there. First, let's go to Revelation, the 16th chapter, right? Yahweh Shemel Shai has spirits out there stirring up these people, man, right? For World War III. Revelation chapter 16, we're going to read 12 on down. All right, Revelation chapter 16 and verse 12. So again, it's no coincidence, man. It's not some strange anomaly that there's war going on, right? It's not just by luck, man. Right? This thing is all of God. And if you're not taking this serious and getting right with the Most High, you're gonna be caught out there. Revelation chapter 16 and verse 12. And the sixth angel poured out his vial upon the great river Euphrates, and the water thereof was dried up, that the way of the kings of the east might be prepared. And we go through this all the time. The Euphrates River is drying up. For everybody that denies the Bible, that says the white man wrote it, who's King James, he wrote that book. That book has great stories, it's good for life, but it's not real. For every soul that says that, how do you explain Revelation 16-12? Because the Euphrates River is indeed drying up, man. Right? Where is that at? I had that one. Right? We bring this information out all the time, but you can never bring it out enough. Here's the river Euphrates. We'll put drying up. All right. We'll put drying up. And it does not look how it used to during the time of Nebuchadnezzar. Right? Cyrus the Great. Right? And all these different men that ruled the earth. Cambyses. At one time, it was a flowing river. Now it's actually drying up. Right? Look at this. See that? See that right there? So you can't make this up, man. For those who deny the Bible and say it's a book of make-believe, there's no way that you can. Now they may say, well, it's climate change, global warming, right? It's the atmosphere. No, it's the Most High, man. The Lord has an angel drying up the river Euphrates, right? Why? So you can have easier access to fight by land in that region. See all of the portions of the Euphrates River, right? And the surrounding areas. See that? Drying Euphrates threatens the disaster in Syria because they rely on that, man, for agriculture and trade and farming and fishing, you know? So if that river dries up, man, not only is it going to provide easier accessibility for tanks and jeeps and paratroopers and soldiers to fight in that land, but it's going to cripple economies that rely on what that river provides. See that? Look at this river Euphrates, all drying up. Who's doing that? Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. Right, let's read it again. Revelation chapter 16 and verse 12, right? And the sixth angel poured out his vial upon the great river Euphrates, and the water thereof was dried up. So it's not completely dried up yet, but it's drying up, that the way of the kings of the east might be prepared. Now, who are the kings of the east? The kings of the east is China, Iraq, right? Russia. These are the kings of the east. See, that's why they broke it down, the so-called Middle East, to the Near East, the Middle East, and the Far East. All right. So the top leaders of that region, the Orient, are going to come. And they have already formed the political alliance, what we know as BRICS. What do you think BRICS is about? You think they did BRICS for fun, which is Britain? I mean, it's like your Brazil, Russia, India, and China, right? Do you think that they made this for show? No, they made this to cripple the economy of the West, right? And so all nations could leave the shadow of the so-called white man and dwell under the shadow of the heathen. So you have Brazil, Russia, India, China, right? Iran. And your top leaders are Russia, China, Iran. So they have a political organization called BRICS. There's also something, let's pull this up, which we look forward to seeing, called the RSII coalition or alliance, right? So there's a military organization called the Russian, Syria, Iran, Iraq coalition, right? So if Iran gets involved in war, Iran's top ally is actually Syria. So Syria is going to get involved. If Syria gets involved, needless to say, Iraq is going to get involved. If Iraq gets involved, Russia and China are going to get involved. The West, the so-called white men, they got NATO. Iran, they got the RSII coalition. And they're not playing no damn games, right? Now they say, I'm not going to read this whole thing. The Russian-Syria, Iran-Iraq coalition, also referred to as the 4+1, and that +1 is Hezbollah. You see that? And they got war with Hezbollah right now. It's a joint intelligence sharing cooperation between opponents of the Islamic State with operation rooms in Syria and Iraq, right? It was formed as a consequence of an agreement reached at the end of September 2015 between Russia, Iran, Iraq, and Syria. So this is the big deal right here, man. This is the big deal, right? They have their own intelligence sharing coalition, right? You also have other military groups in the Middle East. You have your Peninsula Shield Force, right? That's what the study of geopolitics is paramount when it comes to understanding prophecy. So your Peninsula Shield Force is the military arm of the Gulf Cooperation Council, right? So this is an actual military arm. It is intended to deter and respond to military aggression against any of the GCC member countries, Bahrain, Kuwait, Oman, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and the United Arab Emirates, right? So you're going to have military operations, right? Slovakia, take place in that region, man. You're going to have the Peninsula Shield Force. Their militaries are going to be there. The RSII, their military is going to be there. This is deeper than just the state of Israel or the IDF and Iran. Because all of these countries have allies, man. You know? So this is going to be a big deal. The Peninsula Shield Force, the RSII, BRICS, the SCO, the CSTO, NATO, once these wars kick off, these are the kings of the East, and they're going to send their military vehicles into that region, right, of Syria and Israel. I'm going to read Revelation 16-13. And I saw 3 unclean spirits, like frogs, come out of the mouth of the dragon, and out of the mouth of the beast, and out of the mouth of the false prophet. For they are the spirits of devils, working miracles, which go forth unto the kings of the earth and of the whole world, to gather them to the battle of that great day of God Almighty. So if this war kicks off, it's going to lead to the battle of the great day of God Almighty. All of the spirits that are coming out through the sorcery, witchcraft, propaganda, media, the influence that America has with Israel and these other nations, those are spirits, devils, provoking war, putting propaganda, working inside with other governments to create military alliances and create damn adversity. America's playing a major role, man, through their high-level psyop, conversion tactics, witchcraft, and sorcery. So they're putting spirits on these nations, man. They're the ones that fund billions of dollars to the state of Israel, putting spirits out on the earth, man, of aggression and war. So everybody eventually is going to be gathered to the battle of the great day of God Almighty, right, which is Armageddon. Behold, I come as a thief. Blessed is he that watcheth, that keepeth his garments, lest he walk naked and they see his shame. And he gathered them together. And this is speaking about keeping your spiritual garment on, right? Standing this truth. Keep and watch the prophecies, man. Don't be worried about what the hell is going on in the world, man. Don't be worried about folly and vanity and things that have no profit. You have all hell breaking loose on the earth, man. You have major prophecy unfolding before your eyes. And Jake is worried about carnal things and madness. They're not watching what's going on, man. They're worried about sports and entertainment and lust and pride. So that's why when Yahweh shall return, a lot of people not going to know what's going on, man. They're going to be caught out there. Right? It reads, and he gathered them together into a place called in the Hebrew tongue Armageddon. Now, Armageddon, it means mountain of soldiers, mountain of troops and armies. That's what Armageddon means, because it's going to have massive amounts of armies in that land. Once this kicks off, and again, it's not a matter of if, regardless if Iran bombs them a little bit or much, it's going to be that week or 2 weeks, but it's going to further lead into World War III, right? And global conflict. Let's see what else I had. We had, let me pull this up real quick. Calling Iran, telling them, hey, look, chill out, man. What are you trying to do here? Start World War III? Iran said yes. They said, Israel, do you care that they want to start World War III? They said, no, we want World War III as well. Right? So these are two hotheads, man. Right? Two hotheads ready to just damn get everybody involved. Global conflict. See that? Russia, Germany. Now this is from today, right? April 11th, Reuters. Right? Very credible source. Russia, Germany, and United Kingdom urge restraint as Iranian threat puts Middle East on edge. Everybody's calling them. They're making phone calls. They're picking up the button. Don't do it. Picking up the phone. Don't do it. Don't do it. Please don't do it. Germany. What the hell is Germany doing? Germany's calling Iran saying, please don't do it. You had the leader of Australia. Don't do it. There's never been a time when you had so many nations calling one nation, don't press the button, because they know what the average Negro don't know. They know something that the average Hispanic man don't know. They know that if Iran presses one button, it's over. So everybody's trying to shut this thing down, man. Everybody's trying to shut this. They're calling them. What the hell is Germany doing calling Iran? You know? So this is a big deal right here. This is a big deal. Right? This is a big deal. Now it reads, let me see how much time I got. All right. It says Russia, Germany, and Britain on Thursday urged countries in the Middle East. So they're making a lot of phone calls, man. A lot of these Edomites, man, even Putin and them, they kind of scratching their head, man. Right? I can see it now. Everybody panicking, sweating. Call them. People pacing back and forth, fixing their suit and tie, sweating, man. While you Negroes are worried about the playoffs and the Grammys or whatever they got going on, man. That's what Jake is worried about. You know? Hey, these nations, man, they know something about to go down. So let me read this. Russia, Germany, and Britain on Thursday urged countries in the Middle East to show restraint, and Israel said it was preparing to meet all its security needs in a region on edge over an Iranian threat to strike Israel. We covered why the region is on edge. We took it back to Genesis. We showed you why, where that region came from, who's supposed to be in that region, why there's war, why are things playing out more on a biblical level than a geopolitical level. But you have the region on edge. And you even had people saying, hey, cancel your flight, man. If you got a flight going on, I'm surprised Biden didn't come out and say that. If you got a flight, tell these American citizens, if you got a flight going to Dubai, Saudi Arabia, Syria, Israel, hey, cancel it. Now, he might come out and say that, man. If this thing kick off, he might say, we're urging all Americans, to reassess your flight situation and not travel. Flights are restricted. We will not send any flights with American citizens to, wherever. They might call these guys in that region and say, look, we need you to come back. if you like it, a top ambassador or politician, they're gonna try to put you on a damn flight and send you back over here, man. But guess what? If you're an Israelite and you're already over there, you might stay over there. I'm gonna say that again. If you joined this man's military, maybe you wanted a Camaro, a Mustang, maybe you want to, go to, Morehouse, University of Southern California, and they were going to pay your tuition, and so you're going to get your grandmother that pay her hospital funds off, so you joined the military, or you needed something to do. If you're out there, more than likely, you're going to stay out there. They're not bringing you back. It's no more bring home the troops, right? Now I'll say this. If you just came back, I did 3 tours. I did 2 tours in Iran, Iraq. Guess what? You're going back. Now you can try to run, you can hide, you can flee the scene. You're going back. You have to deal with it, man. And you're not going to have a lot of Americans that are willing to join the military in this great age of information, or disinformation, should I say, where the true agenda of the government has been exposed, right? And their intentions are extremely ill as they go and plunder little children and gold and opium and drugs and guns. So these people are waking up and they don't want to join the military. You're not going to those recruitment offices and strip malls anymore, man. They're not getting down with this. So they're going to draft people, conscription, if you can understand. And people are going to be caught out there. And they're going to have to deal with it. Right? So let's read this. The German airline, Lufthansa, right? One of only 2 Western carriers flying to Tehran, which is in Iran. Now check, see that? I didn't even read this article, but look what they did. Extended a suspension of its flights. See that? I didn't even read that, but that's what they're going to do. Extended a suspension of its flights to the Iranian capital, and Russia warned against travel to the Middle East. Now, I don't know. Now, Biden, you could get on the live and correct me if I'm wrong. You can come on the live and say, well, I told the people, I told the public. Maybe I missed it. But everybody's telling their people don't go to the so-called Middle East. That's prophecy. Let's go to Isaiah the 13th chapter. Hey, Yahweh Hashem Yahushai said that these things will happen, man. Right? Let's go to Isaiah chapter 13. All right, and read that. As the end of Babylon draws nigh on the earth. This is Isaiah chapter 13, 14. Isaiah 13 to 14. And it shall be as the chased roe, and as the sheep that no man taketh up. They shall every man turn to his own people, and flee every one into his own land. So it's biblical prophecy that when there are times of war, chiefly in these last days, where Babylon the Great will be involved, that these countries are going to call back their ambassadors, citizens, restrict travel to not go to the Middle East, man. Unless you're a soldier or a captain or you're in the military, you're not going to be there. Now, if you a brother, you in this truth and used to be in the military, and the Most High can protect you. The Most High can keep the angels around you and preserve you from that. You're not going to get caught up in that thing. But if you're a wicked man and just outright ungodly, you're not under the shadow of Yahweh Yahushai, you're definitely going back. You're going to be in that tank, or you might be a paratrooper jumping out that helicopter, man. So the Lord said everyone's going to turn to his own people and flee to their own land. That's why you have, again, where's the article? Right? Russia, Germany, do not go to the Middle East. If you a brother, you had for some odd reason, you had a vacation planned. You had a trip going. I want to go to Israel. I want to see the so-and-so. And you better cancel that. You better get your money back. You better get on the phone with that flight attendant and press 1 for customer service. See if you can get a refund back. Or what they give you, the damn points. You better see if you get some points, man. You know? Because if you go to the Middle East, you're gonna be dodging damn missiles. Right? So you got countries telling their people, get out. That's what they're saying. Let's read on in this article. Iran has vowed revenge for the April 1st airstrike on its embassy compound in Damascus that killed a top Iranian general and 6 other Iranian military officers, ratcheting up tension in a region already stained by the Gaza war. And that's, further reason why Iran wants to get involved. They're sick of watching these Ishmaelites get bombed and this genocide. And nobody's talking about this genocide, mass murder going on, in the American media, right? That Amalek is doing out there to them Ishmaelites. So Iran, they want to get involved, man. That's why, again, death to America has been the #1 trending topic on Twitter or X for the past week. It's been up there. It's been like #1, #2, then #3. See that? Let's pull this up. Death to America. See that? U.S. leaders should condemn death to America chants. Death to America. Now, that's from 3 days ago. That was 2019. This is 2020. But this is 3 days ago. Monday. You're getting death to America chants in America. And from these other nations, man. See that? From the New York Post. Let's do times. Let's see, man. I mean, there's so much. Right? We'll do times in India. Right? We'll do times in India. Right? It reads, protesters in Michigan chant death to America and Israel. So this thing is sedition, man. They shall not regard kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. Hey, when I back in the day, well, long story short, Ishmael is all up in Dearborn. I'll just put it like that. They're all up in Dearborn, Michigan, man. And they have a high concentration of Ishmaelites. So they're watching that area, man. And they're walking through the streets chanting death to America and death to Israel. So this is a big deal. This is a big deal going on. This is not the 1950s. Hey, that wouldn't fly in the 1950s, man. The 1940s. The damn Great Gatsby days, the Roaring 20s. The Leave It to Beaver days. You didn't have a bunch of Arabs out there chanting death to America, man. When they was at the jukebox and getting a milkshake, man. And when Betty was putting that apple pie and cherry pie on the windowsill. There was no death to America, man. And Brad came in from work with his briefcase with scotch on the rocks. They didn't have that. But this lets you know that this society is over. This is the end of the so-called white man's rulership. His kingdom is over. It's finished. He's done. This is the end of the so-called white man's rulership on the earth. So you have protesters in America chanting death to America. And you have, let's go to Habakkuk, and you have nations chanting America. Right? So these Iranians, they're going to bomb Israel, Lord, whether rather major or minor. But again, if Iran gets pulled into this war, America will be pulled into this war. All right? There's only so much that these nations could take, man, of your rape, rob, and murder on the earth. Habakkuk chapter 2. I mean, this whole thing is good. I mean, Habakkuk 2 is a mean chapter, man. This is you're living in these days, right? And the Lord said in Habakkuk chapter 2 and 3, it reads, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shows Slakia. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, But at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. Now, this vision came, what, 2,500 years after Habakkuk saw it, right? He said, though it tarry, Habakkuk, oh, well, when is it going to come? How about 2,500 years later, give or take? And the vision really is a vision of the so-called white man, rape, robbery, and murder on the earth, but also his kingdom collapsing and going down by the same people that he raped, by the same people he robbed, and by the same people he murdered. That's what this vision is about. This is the time of these nations rising up against America. You're living in the days of the vision of Habakkuk, the second chapter. Because it's not just about the so-called white man destroying the earth. Habakkuk 2 covers another portion, which are every nation that he destroyed rising up against him. So these are the days you're in right now, man. Right? Let's read this in Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 7. Shall they not rise up suddenly, that shall bite thee, and awake, that shall vex thee, and thou shalt be for booties unto them. So the Ishmaelites are awaking, and they had enough of your bullshit. I'm gonna just put it out there like that, man. I don't know how else to say it. They had enough of it, man. Now they're in your city. They in your grill, man. They in your crib. They travel from Arabia. They're in your house in Dearborn, Michigan, and they're chanting death to America in your own backyard. So the Lord says, shall they not shall they not rise up suddenly, that shall bite thee, and awake, that shall vex thee, and thou shalt be for booties unto them. Booties is spoiled. They're going to spoil you, man. Why? Habakkuk 2 and 8. Because thou hast spoiled many nations. All the remnant of the people shall spoil thee. Because of men's blood, meaning murder, and for the violence of the land, and of the city, and of all that dwell therein. And the violence of the land is the whole earth, man. Chiefly that region. That's why there's war in the so-called Middle East. That's why Iran says, hey, look, man, we don't care about none of that. Right? We're going to bomb you. Right? Because of what you have done, on the earth, man. And the genocide that you have been a partaker of. All right? This reads, I'm going to read on this article. Again, it's from Reuters. It reads, Israel has not claimed responsibility for the attack. Right? Check that out. So who did it? See, this damn devil, man. That's why everybody hates you. If you're going to do it, own it, man. What did they say? Don't swing and throw stones and hide your hands, man. Then you did it. If you bombed them, just say you bombed them, man. You're doing all of that talk. If they bomb us, we're going to bomb them back. Just own it, man. Get this thing started. Somebody press the button. Talking about they didn't claim responsibility. Right? Israel has not claimed responsibility for the attack. But Iranian Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei said on Wednesday, Israel must be punished, and it shall be. So that's some biblical talk, and it shall be. That's some ancient Semitic talk right there, man. So he's not going for that. Oh, they didn't claim responsibility. That's what you Negroes are going for. Well, maybe they didn't do it. Right? There's a lot of people out there. Maybe somebody, you Negroes make me sick, man. These other nations, they have a little bit more understanding in matters of war and judgment at times, man. They ignored that. They said, we're going to punish you, and it shall be, saying it was tantamount to an attack on Iranian soil, right? The imperative for Iran to punish this rogue regime might have been avoided at the UN Security Council condemned the let me jump up. Had the UN Security Council condemned the strike and brought the perpetrators to justice. Damn perps. Esau's the perp. So used to call Jacob perp. Got a perp right there. He's sagging his pants. He's a black man. He has a hoodie on. He robbed the store. He's a perp, right? Now, Esau, you're a perp, right? You're the perpetrators, right? You're the pretenders. You're the thieves, right? You're the liars. They should have brought the perpetrators to justice. Tehran's mission to the United Nations said on Thursday, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said Israel was keeping up its war in Gaza, but making security preparations elsewhere. Whoever harms us, we will harm them. We are prepared to meet all of the security needs of the state of Israel, both defensively and offensively. So he said, who harms us, we will harm them. This is going to be a big deal, right? If this thing kicks off. Now, the Lord can have it die down, right? The Lord can have it be all talk, because the Lord did say you have wars and rumors of wars, right? You're going to have wars and rumors of wars. This is part of this thing too. But eventually a rumor ain't going to be a rumor for too long, because Yahushua said nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom. So it's going to turn from talk to action. Iran has signaled to Washington that it will respond to Israel's attack in a way that aims to avoid major escalation, and it will not act hastily, Iranian sources said. So we're waiting to see, how much weight that holds, because at first they were going to press the button. All this talk, there's an attack that's imminent. All hell is going to break loose. They're going to press the button. They're doing these promos and about them shooting their missiles and destroying the so-called white man. And now what they're saying is, after they talked to America, whatever that conversation was about was, all right, well, we're not going to really kick this thing off. But that could be talk too. They could just be telling them what they want to hear. They could do a surprise attack. They could press the button, man. Like I said, we're just spectators. We're watching this thing go down. And if this thing escalate, very well, man. And if not, we're still going to serve Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. Regardless, World War III is going to happen. Rather, Iran causes it to happen, or Israel, or America. Somebody's going to get World War III started. Why? Because it's biblical prophecy. It's not of him that willeth, nor of him that runneth, man. All right. Now, I'm going to read one more. This whole thing is good. Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant told United States Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin that Israel would respond directly to any attack by Iran, Gallant's office said. Conflict has spread across the Middle East since the eruption of the Gaza war, with Iran-backed groups declaring support for the Palestinians, waging attacks from Lebanon, Yemen, and Iraq. Tehran has avoided direct confrontation with Israel or the United States while declaring support for its allies. But eventually Iran, they don't care anymore. They're willing to risk it all. Right? Now they said they're going to kind of dial things back, but of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. Right? Let me get what else I had. We got a few more before we wind down. All right, Salaki, let's pull this up. Well, that's not what I want. All right, bear with me. So this is from X, or formerly known as Twitter, right? Now, this says Iran told Australia that some Western governments didn't condemn the terror attack by Israel on Iranian consulate, but simply demand Iran's restraint. So they're saying, look, everybody's telling you to get punched in the mouth, but you can't swing back. Iran is sick of getting punched in the mouth. Imagine you getting punched in the mouth and 5 people telling you, hey, look, don't punch him back. Then he punched you in the mouth again. And eventually, hey, you're going to punch him back 3 times, man. That's how Iran is feeling right now. They're fed up. A lot of these nations are fed up with getting bullied, man. That's why we read that in the Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter. Right? It says, per Iran MFA readout, Australia said they understand Iran's concern about the attack, but called for Iran's restraint. So Australia called them, said, look, man, chill out. Please don't bring us into war. We don't know how to fight. Please, we don't want to go to war. When have you ever heard us in war? So everybody's calling them, man, making plans. Right? Australia had a phone call with Iran urging Tehran to exercise restraint. And somebody can really only exercise restraint for so long. Eventually, they're going to lash out, man. You got people that hit dogs and hit them with a stick and beat them and torture them. And that dog, he's going to lash out on you, man. That pit bull, he's going to kill you. These animals at the zoo, at the circus, they got riding a unicycle, elephants on a tightrope. Hey, these animals will kill you, man. And they have done it and will do it. Keep poking the bear. You know? So they said they urged Iran to exercise restraint and to use influence to promote stability in the region. And that's hypocrisy. Because Australia, where the hell have you been at, man? Where the hell have you been at? They're not trying to promote stability. When have you heard Iran's name come up? I mean, Australia's name come up, rather for good or evil. So Australia, you're a hypocrite, man. Because you didn't speak up on when it's genocide. America probably told them, hey, look, if you don't call Iran, we're going to do something to you. Right? America probably made these people make these phone calls, man. Because where the hell has Australia been at? Iran said sustainable security can be back to region once Israel stops war crimes. He described Iranian response as self-defense. So this is going to be what they call self-defense, right? And we'll see, man. Right? Now, this is also from X, aka Twitter. Now, this is from Break, right? Salakia. The situation in the Middle East has deteriorated sharply, right? A warning about missile launches in Iran was put in place from April 10th to April 13th. See that? So this thing can still kick off, man. American ships in the Persian Gulf and off the coast of Yemen are on a high alert. These are all the events that are happening since that attack. The Iranian Ministry of Foreign Affairs held talks with Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and the UAE, and Iraq. The content of the negotiations was not revealed. So they're talking. The U.S. notified Egypt of possible Iranian missile attacks on Israel. The American media once again announced an inevitable Iranian attack on Israel. Many flights to Israel have been canceled. So there's a lot going on behind the scenes, man. Right? There's a lot going on behind the scenes. Let's go to the book of Revelation. Actually, let's go to Joel, the 3rd chapter. Right? This is Joel. We're going to get straight to the point because this is prophecy. What do we label this cold cut or call this? God is warning how war in the Middle East will happen. Right? And we're covering it through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemel Shah. There is war and Armageddon will take place in that same region that they're trying to establish peace in. This is Joel chapter 3 and verse 9. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. So that's why these nations are building missiles, having a conscription, hiring scientists and engineers to make weapons of mass destruction, fortifying their what do they call their anti-missile system so they can shoot the missiles in the air. Everybody's getting ready for war, man. Right? It reads, beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. That's where you have weak nations, third world nations getting ready for war. Yemen. Iran is not a global major power, but they're getting ready for war, right? You had the Houthis that told America, bring it on, we want war, right? So everybody's getting in, everybody's feeling themselves. Everybody got the same weapons. Everybody has missiles now. So everybody feeling a little, feeling themselves. So they say, I'm strong too. America, you're not the only one with a missile. You're not the only one with a nuke. This is not the 1940s anymore. So let the weak say, I am strong. Joel 3:11. Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Yahweh. Let the heathen be wakened. So that link up with Habakkuk 2. Shall they not arise, or that shall awake and vex thee? So they're being awakened by the Spirit of the Most High, right? Let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, for there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. And Jehoshaphat is Yahweh Shaphat. Shaphat is judgment or judge. And this is supposed to be Yah or Yahshaphat or Yahweh Shaphat. Yahweh's judgment, Yahweh's decision. There will Yahweh judge all the heathen round about. So he's stirring up World War III. So every reason could be made for the nations to come down there, right? Let's put up the Valley of Jehoshaphat. Where's this map of the so-called Middle East again? Right? See if we can pull this up again. So here's where your Valley of Jehoshaphat's going to be, this region right here. Now, they're all not going to be just in that one area because you're going to have wars all over the earth. So it's really this whole region of Israel, Jordan, Syria, Lebanon, chiefly in the land of Israel. All nations are going to be gathered here in this region. They're going to have their jets. You're going to have aircraft carriers. You're going to have F-32 bombers. You're going to have stealth bombers, soldiers, infantry. You're going to have massive war in this region. And right now, the Lord is gathering Iran. He's gathering Russia. You even had the United Kingdom. They said, hey, look, man, if this thing really kicks off, we're going to get involved too. See if I can find that. Right? They say if they attack Israel, we will get involved. Right? I may pull it up later. Right? I thought maybe I pulled it up. Right? If not, let's see. It's one of these. All right, bear with me. If not, all right, that's all right through the Spirit. But you can look that up. Great Britain or United Kingdom, they said, hey, look, man, if y'all go to war and attack, we're going to go to war and attack. So Britain is going to get involved. And we know how Article 5 of NATO works. If you attack one NATO, United Kingdom will respond, right? So these nations, man, they're getting excited. Yeah, that was from the Telegraph. If Iran strikes, you can look it up, right? From the Telegraph, United Kingdom News website. If Iran strikes, Britain must take it on. Strategic ineptitude by the United States and Britain has contributed a great deal to the violence engulfing Israel today. See that? Strategic ineptitude. So you have Iran and Britain, man. Britain is going to get involved, right? Everybody's going to be here, man. This is going to be the war to end all wars, right? In the Valley of Jehoshaphat. Let's go to the book of Joel, the 2nd chapter, right? Let's go to Joel chapter 2, right? Yahweh Shai prophesied of these things, man, right? From the days that were before us, even from the beginning, right? This is Joel chapter 2 and verse 20. It reads, but I will remove far off from you the northern army. See that? And will drive him into a land barren and desolate. That's the Middle East, Jehoshaphat. The Northern Army is the NATO's army led by America, really America's army, Babylon the Great. All right. And they're going to be driven to a land barren and desolate, with his face toward the East Sea and his hinder part toward the utmost sea. So that's between your Mediterranean Sea and your Dead Sea, right? And really that whole region, what they call the Middle East, goes all the way to the Persian Gulf as well. So it's that entire so-called Middle East region, from the Mediterranean Sea to the Dead Sea, even the Persian Gulf. That's where that war is going to kick off, massive war. That's what it means to East Sea, all the way to the utmost sea. All right. And his stink shall come up, and his ill savor shall come up, because he had done great things. So the Most High is going to destroy them. Their stink is going to come up because they're going to be dead carcasses. The great things they did was rape, rob, and murder. So the Lord is going to destroy them in that area, in that region. He's going to bring that northern army there, right? He's going to have the southern army there. He's going to have the kings of the east there, right? And he's going to have all these nations fight in this region. All right. Let's go to Second Ezra, the 15th chapter. Let me see where I'm at with time. Right, running a little low on time. All right, Second Ezra, chapter 15. So this is the Most High is warning the earth, really, that you Israelites, how war in the Middle East has started and where it's going to end. Right, Second Ezra, chapter 15. Oh man, this whole thing is good. Right. Second Ezra chapter 15 and verse 28. Behold, an horrible vision, and the appearance thereof from the east. Right? Not the far east, but the so-called Near East and Middle East, where the nations of the dragons of Arabia shall come out with many chariots, and the multitude of them shall be carried as the wind upon earth, that all they which hear them may fear and tremble. So your nations of the dragons of Arabia is really a peninsula shield force, okay, which is the military arm of the Gulf Corporation Council. You don't have an actual people saying, okay, well, what are the dragons of Arabia? And they have their own building and their own policies. No, just like the kings of the East, just like the 10 horns, they're played out on the earth. The beast with 2 horns like a lamb, but speaks as a dragon. He's manifested on the earth, right? So the dragons of Arabia are played out as the Peninsula Shield Force, okay, led by Saudi Arabia. And they're going to be involved in war too, right, according to the prophecy. Also, the Carmanians, which are your Iranians. Carmania was a small province in the Median Empire, but it's in modern-day Iran. Raging in wrath shall go forth as the wild boars of the wood, and with great battle shall they come. It's like a great power shall they come and join battle with them, and shall waste a portion of the land of the Assyrians. Now, when you see this words join battle, right? Join battle in a biblical sense means what? What does join battle mean? Right? Let's type in when you have 2 armies that join battle. All right, let's just pull it up. So here's join battle. The Carmanians are going to join battle, right, with the dragons of Arabia. Okay, hold on. See, maybe joint. Let's do joint battle. See, the blue letter, they want you to be extremely specific. All right, let's see. All right, joint battle. 1 Samuel 4:2. And the Philistines put themselves in array against Israel. And when they joined battle, Israel was smitten before the Philistines, and they slew of the army in the field about 4,000 men. So joined battle doesn't always mean or necessarily mean that they joined forces to battle. It means they joined battle one side against another side, right? In every context of joining battle in the Bible, it's one side against another side. right? 1 Kings 20 and 29. And they pitched one over against the other 7 days. And so it was. Then the 7th day, the battle was joined, and the children of Israel slew of the Syrians. So they didn't link up with the Syrians, right? The Philistines didn't link up with the Israelites when they joined battle. When you join battle, you fight one against another, right? In this man's world, you think joining is always to be on each other's side, right? But it reads, and the children of Israel slew of the Syrians and 100,000 footmen in one day, right? Now, even, see if I can get this real quick in the Apocrypha, right? Let me pull this up real quick through the Spirit, because I'm not going to be able to, I may be able to pull it up on here, right? Let's see, let's type in, see if we can do joint battle, all right? Through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Okay, see, I knew they weren't going to allow me to do it. So I'll read maybe one verse, or I'll just type it in. So this is 2 other precepts, right? This is 1 Maccabees chapter 11 and 69. 1 Maccabees 11 and 69. So when they lay in ambush, so when they that lay in ambush rose out of their places and joined battle, all that were of Jonathan's side fled. See that? So one side on another side. 1 Maccabees 10 and 78. Then Jonathan followed after him to Azotus, where the armies joined battle. Right? So you're going to have major conflict in that so-called Middle East, man. You're going to have the Carmanians joining battle with the dragons of Arabia. Right? However, Yahweh Shem Shai has that thing play out, man. You're going to have massive conflict, war, Iran, Saudi Arabia, different Muslim factions, Europeans fighting all in that region is going to ultimately lead to Armageddon, right? Let's go back to that, right? Let's actually go back to our 2nd Esdras, right? Okay, hold on. See, let's go back to the 1611. All right, so bear with me. Let's go back to the 1611. We're going to read a little bit more, maybe get 2 or 3 more. We're going to wind it down. All right, 2nd Esdras, back in the 15th chapter, actually, not the 16th chapter. Right, 2nd Esdras chapter 15 and verse 30. Where do we leave off? 2nd Esdras chapter 15 and 31. It reads, and then shall the dragons have the upper hand, remembering their nature, because they're wild men, right? We read that. And they shall turn themselves, conspiring together in great power to persecute them. Then shall these be troubled and keep silence to their power and shall flee. So you're going to have this conflict between the dragons of Arabia and the Carmanians, where one side is going to have the upper hand and another side is going to be kind of cast down. And from the land of the Assyrians shall the enemy besiege them and consume some of them, and in their host shall be fear and dread and strife among their kings. So you're going to have these nations turn against one another. Ishmaelite nations, Elamites. You're going to have Esau in there, the northern army. You're going to have the king of the north come down. So all of this is going to happen in the valley of Jehoshaphat. All right, all of this is going to happen in the valley of Jehoshaphat. Let's go to Revelation, the 9th chapter. All right, let's go to Revelation chapter 9. So we're watching, right? We're watching to see if they're going to press the button. But this is the Most High warning, man. Right? The Lord is letting you, all hell is going to break loose. And World War III will happen, man. And if you don't repent and be on the right side of the Most High, you're going to be caught out in that war. Right? You can't catch a flight back. It ain't going to be a round trip. Right? This Revelation chapter 9 and 14. Saying to the 6th angel, which had the trumpet, loose the 4 angels which are bound in the great river Euphrates. So once that river dries up, these angels are going to be loosed. And the 4 angels were loosed, which were prepared for an hour and a day and a month and a year for to slay the third part of men. So a certain portion of men are going to be destroyed by the missiles once these angels are loosed. Eventually, that's when these real buttons are going to be pressed. They're going to press that big red button during the time, ultimately, of the sixth trumpet. But you're going to have wars and missiles kick off too. But massive nuclear war is going to take place right before Yahweh Shah returns. That's why it says immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the Son of Man appear. Paraphrasing Matthew 24, right? And 29 through 31. Or in Daniel, the 12th chapter. And at that time shall there be great trouble, such as was never since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time, thy people shall be delivered. Everyone that is found written in the book, paraphrasing. So as World War III reaches a climax in the Middle East, that's when Yahweh Shah is going to return. Right when those nuclear bombs are dropping on the earth, he's going to return and destroy the nations. Right? So this is major prophecy unfolding on the earth. Major prophecy is unfolding on the earth, and we have to keep watch. We have to keep watch about what Yahweh Shah is doing on the earth. Rather things escalate, right? Or rather things kind of die back down regardless. We're going to keep our hands to the plow, keep watch, stay diligent, stay rooted, pray, fast, study, study scriptures, and build ourselves up and examine ourselves before this place goes down. So with that, we're going to close up. Giving, of course, our honor and glory to Yahweh. Ba'ashem Mashiach Kwamalak Yahushai. Most High willing you were edified. Kwam Yashah. Shalom.